We're sitting down with Taylor Swift on today's Entertainment City, but first, former Q radio host Jian Ghomeshi is speaking out, giving a shocking account of why he was fired yesterday. In an open letter on Facebook, Jian Ghomeshi claims his dismissal from the CBC was related to concerns the broadcaster had about his private sex life becoming public. He claims allegations of unwanted sexual violence are part of a smear campaign against him orchestrated by an ex-girlfriend, with whom he had previously engaged in BDSM. In the post, Ghomeshi says, quote, "My taste in the bedroom may not be palatable to some folks, but insist it has always been consensual." CBC has released a statement saying that the decision to fire him was not made without serious deliberation and careful consideration. Ghomeshi is the co-creator of the award-winning Q. He's interviewed countless celebrities and musicians on the show. The 47-year-old gained notoriety for a controversial interview with Billy Bob Thornton in 2009. Ghomeshi is also the manager of Canadian electro-pop musician Lights. He has a music history of his own as a former member of the band Moxy Früvous. Gomeshi's legal team plans to launch a $50 million lawsuit against the CBC today for breach of confidence and bad faith. Her fifth studio album just dropped, and here's what Taylor Swift had to tell me about 1989. You base it off a lot of your favorite kind of 80s music.
Yes.
Which I feel like I'm an 83 baby. I at least got like 5 or 6 years of 80s.
Yeah.
You had that one year that was so pivotal.
Honestly, it was less about my birth year, and it was more about, there seemed to be an air of kind of rebellion. I think with this album switching over from country to pop, it took a big, bold risk to do that, and I think that that kind of is in keeping with what that decade kind of stood for.
Is there something that you felt that you needed to prove in pop?
For a while, I was kind of making music that could work on pop or country radio, but at a certain point, it's that phrase where if you chase 2 rabbits, you lose them both. With something like music, you have to be all in, and I think you have to be very authentic and honest about what direction you've chosen, and that's why I chose to be very upfront about the fact that I was making a creative change. But I still try to implement really witty lines and storylines in my lyrics, so I think that's the part that my fans will be able to recognize.
You're also exposing a lot of your country fans to new music that they might have not heard before.
That's a really sunny, optimistic outlook on it, and I hope that catches on.
And we have music on our minds today. Our Tara Sloan exclusively caught up with folk rockers Blue Rodeo during the Rogers hometown hockey stop in Saskatoon.
It's been an absolutely electric weekend here in Saskatoon for the 3rd stop on our Rogers hometown hockey tour. The Oilers Octane even stopped by. I was so inspired by the festival here in Saskatoon that I actually managed to get up on stage and play with a local cover band called The Gong Show. But as it turns out, I was upstaged. Greg Keeler and Jim Cuddy from Blue Rodeo popped by the festival. I had a chance to talk a little rock and a little hockey with Jim. Thank you guys so much for stopping by today. There's a mutual fascination that seems to happen, Jim, between rock stars and hockey players. What is that?
Well, first of all, I think we each wish we were the other. I think we lead very similar lives, you know, playing in similar venues, and we lead this kind of satellite life. Part of it at home, most of it away.
And make sure you join us next week for the 4th stop on our Rogers hometown hockey tour when we stop in Ron's hometown of Red Deer, Alberta. Let's do it, girls.
2 Broke Girls are back on City. Max and Caroline are joined by one very rich guest star in the season 4 premiere. Catch Kim Kardashian's appearance on the hit comedy tonight. And tune in tomorrow for part 2 of my interview with Taylor. And what do you think of her new album, 1989? Tweet us at NCity.